Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Isn't She Powerful podcast. Today, I am going to be walking you through some of the things that I did in the last 24 hours to help me stay on top of my health and wellness goals during a really busy day. I got the inspiration from this episode from someone reaching out to me and letting me know they need me to talk more about how to actually maintain healthy habits or build healthy habits during times whenever life is super busy. And so that's what I want to talk about today, because this past week has been one of those weeks that has felt like I was going 120 miles an hour every single minute of every single day. I was bouncing around from place to place, and don't get me wrong, everything was so much fun. Like, I just posted something onto my Instagram and I was saying that this week felt like one of those weeks where I was living my vision board. It felt like one of those weeks where I was doing all of the things that I had said for so long, like, this is what I want my life to look like. These are the things that I want to be doing. I'm looking at my two vision boards right now in the room that I'm recording in, and I just feel like, wow, those things are real for me. That's exactly, I got everything that I wanted, and it's happening so quickly, and it's just really, really exciting. For example, this week, I'll tell you some of the things that were so fun for me this week. Number one thing is I met with the Seismic Shift girls, and they are absolutely rocking it. This is one of those groups where you can just tell that the people that are in the group are serious about it and they really want it. They're showing up for the calls, they're watching the replays, they're sending pictures of themselves working out or pictures of their workout log, they're sending pictures of what they're eating, they're sharing their meal plans, they're serious about this. And it's so fun to see not only them doing these things, but also the results of them doing all of this stuff. It's really fun to see those things happening and get to spend this time on the live calls with them and in the chat in between calls. I got the okay this week from one of my favorite local restaurants. I'm going to be doing an in-person event in my Jacksonville area, and I'm really, really excited for it. And I got the okay from one of the restaurants that I love in this area, and they agreed to partner with me for this, which is really a blessing, and I'm so excited for that. Last night, from the time that I'm recording this, I spoke at the Women for Women event in Jacksonville. That is a local organization where women get together once a month, and it's not a networking group, it's just a friendship group, and that's what I really love. I feel like a lot of times right now, there's not a lot of groups that are just there to let you get to know other people in like a friendly way. And so this group is for that, and I got to speak about my very favorite topic, which is cravings and food noise. And it's so fun because when I reflect back on my journey in health coaching, it always has come back to that. From the very beginning, I actually had my name on Instagram as Laura B, because I always wanted to be Laura B Healthy. That was from the very beginning. My husband actually came up with that name. We were sitting on our couch and I was like, I need a cute name, something that's clear. Everybody knows exactly what I do, but it's like catchy. And he was like, how about Laura B Healthy? Because my last name starts with B. And so that was the start of Laura B Healthy. But anyways, from the beginning, it was Laura B Cravings Coach. I always wanted to focus on this. This was like my thing from the very beginning because I struggled with it so deeply. So to get to go and speak about that just made my heart sing. It made me so happy, and I am currently manifesting more of those opportunities, and it feels like they're lining up for me. I've had so far a event that I'm speaking at in December of last year. January, February, and March are already lined up, and I have events that I'm talking to for April and May, which would be so cool if I could have 6 months in a row with one speaking event at each. It would make me so happy. But finally, the other thing that happened this week that made me so happy was that I recorded for the very first sponsored episode of the show. It is with a brand that I've been talking to and working with for a very long time. I've been using their products for over a year now, and I absolutely love them. And I reached out and I was like, hi, would you like to sponsor an episode of the show? And of course they said yes, and that is so thrilling. I can't wait to give you that in just a couple of weeks. You're going to be patient and find out what it is, but once you know, you are going to want to jump on this product. And I'm so proud and excited of the way that this year is going so far. But I also have to say, I've been running around like crazy. And so I've had to have some things, routines, structures, mindsets in place to keep me grounded and help me stay healthy and stay consistent with all of the things that I do for my health and wellness in the midst of all of these other amazing things happening in my life. So with that being said, I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to share with you 8 things that I literally did yesterday. Like, I'm talking about the last 24 hours of my life. What did I do to stay healthy on a super busy day? So let's get into it. The number one thing that I need to share with you, the very first, most important thing, and it's going to come up throughout this entire thing multiple times, is that you have to be planned ahead. And this is the thing where mindset comes in, right? Because I don't want it to be one of those things where you plan ahead for your meals and you plan ahead for your workouts and then you miss it and then you beat yourself up about it, because that's the all or nothing mindset, right? I either do exactly what my plan said or I'm off the deep end and we're not doing any of it. I missed my morning workout, so we're done. Who cares? I'm not getting my workout in today. Clearly, I was supposed to have hamburgers for dinner and instead I'm not able to, I forgot to thaw out the meat, so screw it, we'll just go out to eat. You know, it's one of those things where you have to be in check with your mindset with it, but planning ahead makes the biggest difference. The reason why everything got done for me yesterday that did get done for me, the reason why I ate the way that I did, healthy meals, every single meal, the reason why I was able to get in a workout, all of those things happened and occurred for me because I was planned ahead, okay? The number one thing that I will say is I woke up earlier yesterday than I do on a normal day, and that is because I'm a great wife. That's what I need to say. I'm a wonderful wife, and I wake up and I get my husband's lunch together every single day. He would prefer to eat out of a lunchbox rather than go out to eat, which I would prefer for him as well, but he also doesn't do much cooking, and so that falls onto me. We normally have for him a salad, and then I put whatever meat or protein on the salad to go with it for that week. And usually I prep that protein in advance. I usually prep that protein on Saturday or Sunday or sometime early in the week so that it's ready to go for the entire week. I got home late from an event on Tuesday night. I had gone out with some of my friends and gone to this really fun workout class, and I got home very late because that workout class was over an hour from my house. So I got home late. I was literally eating food. I was only able to go through a drive-through. Not my typical meal choice, not something I would normally do, but I went to Wendy's and I, instead of getting, something that was not great for me, not that Wendy's was good for me by any means, but I did at least make a choice there that was a better choice than I could have made otherwise. I got the double burger and I just got no bun and extra veggies and kind of turned it into a burger salad. So at the end of the day, I had some protein and I had some I had some fats and I had some veggies. So you know what? It was a meal. But anyways, I was sitting on the couch, I was eating that, and I was like, oh my God, I did not cook your protein for this week for your lunches, because prior to that, on Monday and Tuesday, he had been eating leftovers from the previous week. So I was like, whatever, I'm gonna have to get up on Wednesday morning and make your chicken for the week to go in your salads. So that's what I did. I set the alarm for about 40 minutes earlier than I would normally get up on a weekday, and I started making his chicken very early in the morning. And that's when this occurred to me. This episode idea occurred to me. As I was sitting there pounding out the chicken, getting it into these thin cutlets, I realized the reason why I'm able to stay healthy is because I put myself in these uncomfortable positions. It didn't feel exciting to get out of bed on Wednesday morning and start cooking this chicken. Like, that's not something I wanted to do. But at the same time, I knew that if I wanted us to be healthy, if I wanted us to have food options that I felt good about, that was what needed to be done. So sometimes you just have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You just have to be willing to do the thing that sucks in the moment. But now that it's done, man, my life is so much easier. And I got one of those big packs of chicken. It had like 6 or 7 chicken breasts in it. I filleted them. I pounded them out really thin. I put a piece of parchment paper between them and stacked them up in one of those Ziploc bags, put it in the freezer, and now my life is going to be easy for weeks because all I have to do is pull out a couple of those pieces of chicken instead of the entire thing and thaw out all of this chicken that we don't need. So number one thing, I woke up earlier than usual, put myself in an uncomfortable position to set myself up for success throughout the rest of the week and for weeks on here on out. Meal prepping is also part of that first one. I made sure that there was food so I don't have to wake up on Thursday morning and Friday morning to try to get our lunch together. I just made it in advance. Now all I have to do is put it in the lunchbox in the mornings. So by doing that, I save myself so much time. After that, I had just a few minutes before I was going out of the door, so I popped my breakfast into the microwave and ate it very quickly. One, it wasn't meal prepped, but it was meal planned. And the reason that it wasn't meal prepped is because it couldn't be prepped in advance. This week for breakfast, I am having a whole grain toast with some peanut butter and some hemp hearts drizzled on top of it with some turkey bacon. So those things can't be made in advance, but I can make them very quickly. So all I did was put some bread in the toaster, put my turkey bacon in the microwave. I did a couple of things to clean up around the kitchen while those things were heating, and then I ate them, and then I was out the door. So by having these things planned in advance, it makes it so much easier for me to actually eat them and be consistent with eating them. Do you see here how important meal planning and meal prepping is? That's what I need you to be taking away so far. What I had to rush out of the door for was a walk with my friend, and this is another thing that I need you to be taking away right here. Accountability with your exercise is so important. First of all, it is preset in our calendar. We meet every single Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m. to go for a walk together. She and I both know we will be there. There's a group of us, and no matter what, at least two of us are getting together every single week, and we're going on this walk no matter what. By having that preset in the calendar, it is on the calendar forever now. It literally says Walking Wednesdays, and I just made that as a preset thing in my calendar, and it goes as far. I could literally scroll into 2039 and it would be there on that calendar on Wednesday mornings at 7:30 a.m. And I'm not saying I'm going to be doing this in 2039. I'm just saying it is preset in my calendar forever, because that is what's going to make it to where I can be as consistent with it as possible. It's not like on some Wednesdays we meet at 7:30, and on some Wednesdays we meet at 8:30, and sometimes we don't meet at all, and it's up in the air. No, this is on the calendar. It's happening, okay? So schedule your workouts in advance and have some accountability with them. And I know that for some of you, working out at home feels like the easier choice. For me, for years, working out at home was the easier choice. So that's what I did. From 2020 through 2025, working out at home was the only thing that worked for me. So what did I do? I created accountability in the home workouts by posting on social media about every time that I did them. I had a little community Facebook group that I posted into to say, hey, I did this workout today. And by having some sort of accountability, it could be you and a friend texting each other a sweaty selfie, or just a simple text to say, hey, I did it today. But having some sort of accountability really makes a difference in your ability to stay consistent with it. That's why people hire me. That's literally why people work with me. Sure, they learn something. Absolutely. You learn a lot of stuff through hiring a coach, through working with me. I teach you everything I know. But with that being said, the biggest reason why people choose to work with me is because they need somebody to be checking in on them. Hey, are you doing that workout? Hey, did you choose a healthier choice today? They need that accountability. You need that accountability. So whether you create it for yourself, or whether you create it with a partner, whether you hire a coach to give it to you, some way, somehow, you need that accountability in your life to make you consistent with this stuff. Okay, so me going on my walk with my friend, that was a way that I got in my exercise yesterday. It was also drizzling. Like, it was not the most ideal time for us to go on this walk by any means. But you know what? We showed up for it. And that is what matters. We showed up even when it is uncomfortable. That's the biggest message here. Get uncomfortable. Now, after my walk, I came home. I had a meeting that I needed to leave for in about an hour and a half from when I got home from this walk. So I ran to the shower, had to wash my hair. That's a whole ordeal. So I had to wash my hair. I had to get out, blow dry it, all the things, pick out my outfit. You know how the whole story goes. So by the time that was done, and I also had a couple other things that I needed to get done for work in that hour and a half time frame, I had about 10 minutes that I had for lunch. And that is so unideal. I would prefer, and I've learned the importance of, taking your time while you're eating, slowing down, sitting down, being present with your meal, really chewing your food. But yesterday, that just wasn't going to happen. That just wasn't in the cards for me yesterday. But because I had food already made in the refrigerator, all I had to do was open up the refrigerator, pull out our pre-made food, put some of it into a bowl, put it in the microwave, and then I ate it in about 10 minutes. I ate it very quickly. And of course, I was able to do that because I had it meal planned and meal prepped. I knew exactly what I was going for. I didn't have to stand in front of the pantry or stand in front of the refrigerator and say, what do I want today? Should I be eating this? Should I eat that? I'm not sure. No, none of that. I made sure that I already knew from the beginning of the week, from the time that the week started, I knew that I was going to be having leftover tacos for lunch on Tuesday. Okay? I already knew that. And that made my life so easy in that moment. I was able to just go straight to the refrigerator, pull it out, pop it in the microwave, and eat. So I go to my meeting, I come back home, I get some work done, and then I have to leave because I'm speaking at an event. This was yesterday. I was speaking at an event in Jacksonville, the Women for Women event that I told you about at the very beginning of this episode. And I knew that there was going to be food there at this meeting. And I have only been to the meetings a few times, but on the times that I've gone, they had like some veggie trays, they had some pasta salad, they have some popcorn chicken. None of it is something that's super sustainable. Like I knew that I was going to need more food, especially since I had to eat lunch kind of quickly. I knew I was going to need more food than that, and I also knew that those things weren't things that I wanted to be eating right before speaking. I wanted something to kind of easy on my stomach right before speaking. So I went to the pantry. I grabbed out my go-to snack, which is a yogurt bowl with some chocolate chips in it, and I ate that snack, and that was just something that was so quick. I put it together in like 30 seconds, right? It gave my body some energy by giving it healthy fats and giving it protein. I had some fiber in there, and that is what allowed me to go to this meeting and not feel like I needed to snack on the food, because the thing is, this is the life that I used to live, and this is what I talked about at the meeting when it comes to food noise and food cravings and feeling like you can't stop thinking about food. Food noise is when you're standing there having a conversation with somebody and you feel like you can't be fully present with that person because all you're thinking about is the food that's on the table in the corner. Okay, so that's the last thing I wanted. As I'm standing there at this meeting, the last thing I want is to be thinking about the food that's on the table in the corner. I want to be able to be present. So by having a snack in advance, that allowed me to go into this meeting fully present, fully aware, fully confident, fully comfortable. I was not sitting there thinking about the food in the corner. I didn't touch that food in the corner. I didn't need to. I didn't feel the need to eat any of that food because I was full and satisfied before I even went. So by having a snack, by eating enough food, it allowed me to not eat food that I didn't want to eat. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? What I'm trying to say is you need to be eating enough food throughout the day, and you need to be eating food that gives your body the nutrients that it needs so that you're not constantly thinking about food, constantly on edge, constantly worried about when's the next meal and what are we going to be eating. If that is the life that you're living right now, that's the last thing you need when you're busy. Because again, it puts you on edge, it makes you more irritable. And if you've got your kids talking to you, you've got coworkers talking to you, the last thing you need is to be feeling antsy with them. So instead, take some time, take 20 minutes, take 10 minutes to eat a snack in the afternoons. It makes a world of difference, and it made a big difference for me yesterday. And another thing that I'll add about the snack is by having snacky foods on hand, I told you I grabbed my go-to snack. By having that food on hand, I didn't have to waste a bunch of time trying to figure out what I was going to eat, trying to contemplate, is this what I want? Is that what I want? Nothing really sounds good. I had my go-to snack on hand. End of story, bing, bop, boom, done, right? So have these foods on hand, be planned and prepared ahead for having these foods. Now, I went to the meeting, I spoke at the meeting, everything was so fabulous, and then I went out to eat with some of the friends who had come to this meeting with me. We went out to a restaurant that I know and love very well, and when we walked in the door, she said, hey, do you need a menu? I said, girl, I already know what I want, and that is something that I recommend for you guys. No, go to restaurants where you already know the menu pretty well, especially if it's a time that you know that you're wanting to choose a healthier option at this restaurant. Go to a restaurant where you know you can get something that you enjoy that is in alignment with your goals. So you don't have to sit there and look at the menu, because when you look at the menu, especially if you're hungry, you're tempted to choose these other options that aren't in alignment with your goals. You're like, ooh, you know what actually sounds good? This fried chicken actually looks really good and sounds pretty tasty. Maybe I should get the fried chicken. I didn't look at the menu. I didn't need to. I knew exactly what I was getting. I knew exactly how it would come. I knew everything about this, and I did not need to spend time looking at the menu and contemplating, should I make a choice that's not in alignment with my goals? I don't know. Nope, none of that. So I really recommend that you choose things and go to places where you kind of already know the menu if you're going out to eat, so that you can make a choice that's in alignment with your goals and you're not tempted and tested to choose other things that really aren't in alignment with your goals. The next thing that I want to mention is water. Water is obviously a really big part of your health and wellness journey. I've spent most of this talking about nutrition. I've spoken about exercise and how I get that in on a busy day, but water is also so important. And I've found that it's one of two things. Either when you're busy, you are pretty on top of your water bottle. Like you got it with you, you're drinking it, everything's good. Or on the busy days, you're not drinking your water at all. You completely forget about it. And that used to be how I was. But I've done some things now that help me to where I don't forget about my water as much. Number one thing, my water bottle is always with me. Like, it's literally right beside me right now. That water bottle comes with me everywhere. I have it in my hand. As I was standing there at the meeting before I got up to speak, after I got done speaking, that water bottle was in my hand. I was carrying it around. Not only does it feel like a little bit of an emotional support, right? Like I have it in my hand and I feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't have to cross my arms or anything like that. But also, it's helping me get my water in. Because it's in my hand, I'm so much more likely to drink it. So if you're busy, somebody who runs around and you're in the car a lot, I keep my water bottle in my hand while I'm in the car, especially because my water bottle has a straw. That's something I really recommend if you drive a lot, because it's very dangerous to turn your water bottle up while you're driving. So keep that water bottle with a straw in your hand while you're driving, and that makes it really easy to get in a lot of water while you're behind the wheel. But then also, there's so many opportunities throughout the day that I monopolize whenever I am doing like things around my house. Like for example, while I was getting ready in the morning, I kept my water bottle in a central location in my bathroom, so that while I was putting on my makeup, it was right beside me. While I was getting dressed, I could walk back to it. While I was doing anything else in the bathroom, I was kind of coming back and forth in the area of the water bottle, and I would grab a sip or two every single time. So that helps a lot too. Keep the water bottle in sight, keep it in your hand as much as possible, and it's impossible to ignore it when it's literally right there. Now, the final thing that I want to share with you here is nighttime routine. I have a very consistent nighttime routine, which is important for a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is because it prepares your body for bed. So if you get into a routine where you do the same things every single night, what your body starts to do is recognize those things. It starts to recognize that, oh, we're taking off the makeup, we're putting on our skincare, we're putting on comfortable clothes, we're turning down the lights, got it. And over time, it starts to recognize that means we're going to sleep soon, so it starts to send you melatonin earlier and earlier and earlier in this routine, so that you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, get deeper sleep, versus if you don't have any sort of routine, you're just kind of running around crazy at night and then you fall into bed at whatever time in whatever way, no rhyme or reason to it. Your body doesn't know that's coming. It doesn't know that it's almost time for bed, and so it doesn't give you any melatonin in advance, so you're forced to start creating melatonin when your head hits the pillow versus in advance of your head hitting the pillow. So by having that nighttime routine, I sleep a lot better, and sleep is just so important for maintaining a healthy body, healthy metabolism, healthy weight, all of the things. So with that being said, I have a very consistent nighttime routine. I stuck to that even though I got home pretty late last night. Late definitely in comparison to a normal night of me getting home. I still stuck to that routine and still made it a priority. And through doing that, I was still able to get up today and continue on and go to another event and go do more stuff and feel good and feel energized and feel happy and feel vibrant like myself that I really am trying to be. So with all of that being said, I hope that you got some insight on some of the things that I do to help me be healthy even on the busy days. And I hope that you can start implementing some of these things. If at any point you have any questions, there's something that you want me to talk about. Remember, I got the idea from this episode through a conversation that a friend had with a friend who told me. Okay, so if there's any point in this where you guys want to share with me, what are you struggling with? What do you need help with? There is a link at the very top of the show notes. It's the first thing you're going to find, and it says send us a text. You can send me a message. It will come to me via email, but you'll send me a message, and I don't see your number. I only see your name if you tell me what your name is. I have no idea who you are otherwise. It's completely anonymous. You send me a message and you say, hey, this is what I need you to talk about. This is what I'm struggling with. Please help me with this XYZ thing, and I can make an episode specifically for you talking about exactly what you want and what you need in your health and wellness journey. Not only would it be helpful for me, but it would also allow you to get your specific questions answered. So it's a no-brainer. There's nothing off limits. There's nothing that you can't ask me about. So go down to the show notes, send me a text, and ask about this. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment on this video. There is no send us a text version on YouTube, but you can send me a comment on this video on YouTube, and I will happily answer with another video. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I appreciate you all being here, and I cannot wait to see you again in the next episode. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you again next week, and always remember, the more you know, the more you grow.